Welcome back to the pod. Sadly, I am in Malibu and Kate is in Africa right now.
We're doing long distance. Back to long distance.
Long distance. We have a real life long distance relationship, y'all.
And it
So if you
works.
want any pointers, yeah, we make it work, okay? Exhibit A. I'm full hair and makeup right now at 8 a.m. filming a podcast. Haven't even worked out yet. I wouldn't do that for anyone else, okay? That is love. And I'm still like dying. I got the worst sickness of my life. So we're still recovering from that. And Kate is under a lot of stress right now and has kiddos that need to be put in bed, but she's still showing up. And that is the theme of the
That
pod
is the
today.
core of our everything. Show up.
Of our everything, yes. Just show up and just keep showing up, even when it is hard, even when you don't want to, even when, the biggest thing, and they say with like going to the gym too, it's not about having the best workout ever. It's just about getting there, right? Just get to the gym, just do what you can. And the rest really does follow. Because look at our relationship. How long has it been?
It's like a year now.
I think you're right. I think we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
February, yeah, sometime in February is our one, like the end of Feb.
That's wild. Perfect.
I love it.
Valentine's month.
Yes.
So we just wanted to give you guys an update on where we are 1 year deep into our beautiful relationship. And Live Viva is alive and thriving. So we've been focusing on that, on just pouring back into people's lives. Live Viva is our coaching company. Kate does breath work. I do talk therapy, and it has been really, really cool to see people grow through the program, heal through the program, find love through the program. And, at the beginning, I actually was like, oh, I hope that happens. But we actually have clients that are happily in relationships that did not start that way in this program. So I'm very, very excited about that. Yeah, we just wanted to hop on here and do another podcast because I love podcasting. And we have a lot to talk about. But this one is just kind of to give you guys an update on where we are in our lives. And we're going to podcast more once a week. I'm going to get a podcast out there if it kills me once a week.
Here's the driving force behind these podcasts.
I am. It's my baby. It's my baby. And that's a thing. Kate and I complement each other so well. And if you don't have a girlfriend or a guy friend that teaches you how to be in a healthy relationship, get one of those. Because like you can't go into a relationship not having ever had a healthy relationship with another human being, because then it would just be so foreign. Like having a healthy friendship that shows you what a give take relationship is supposed to look like and healthy communication really can look like is so helpful.
Yeah, I think what we really sort of like got to, when you were here staying with me was, and we've spoken about it so much since then, and I really like it helped me so much in life building this relationship, this friendship, this sisterhood, and really being each other's safe container, being each other's accountability buddy. The communication thing was a big thing because we also had a lot of like mirroring. We had a lot of trauma work that came up, a lot of instances where um we both felt triggered, like our wounds of like trust, mistrust being triggered. Remember that day I cried on the couch? I was like, but something happened but it triggered my trust wound of like, I just can't trust anybody. But I was like, I can trust you.
Yeah.
And just how
Yeah.
everything. And it really has taught me so much about consciously relating, openly and honestly
Yeah.
communicating, and being able to bring all of me, no matter what phase of Kate I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Like the happy woman, the dark and twisty woman, and just knowing that all of me is welcome, like all of you is welcome. So it's you
All the
gotta find
time.
that friend
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and do the thing.
Yeah, we had, I think looking back on it, I hope also this whole beginning of the pod is going to be a little quiet because I was not holding the mic. I was just sitting next to it. Anyways, but yeah, I think you're so right. Like, looking back, it's the moments that we cried and like got vulnerable that like really brought us together the most. And I've used this story multiple times. So that one day when I was like having a little pity party because I wanted to go to the market, I sound like a child.
That was real uncomfortable.
It was real uncomfortable. And it was just, I think that it was a accumulation of things. And the last thing was like, I need attention, or like, I just need some like time outside this house. I'm in a foreign place. I don't have my car. It was accumulation of things. But the reality was that Kate decided not to go to the market. And I really wanted. It's so funny when you talk about it, but like this is what is so important, because in real life, in relationships, people will do things that will piss you off for that are so silly, but you have to be able to communicate it. So I went to my room and I was going to just like do my own thing because I also get dark and twisty. I remember when I first met Kate and she was like, I get dark and twisty. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, there's no way you get dark and twisty. You're not a dark and twisty person. But she and I both get very dark and twisty. And what we mean by that is we go deep into our feelings and then we shut down and we're very like unaccessible. And that's okay. Sometimes it's okay to take that time. But for me, I was having a moment where I was reacting to something and I had two options. And I remember going to my room and sitting there and being like, I can either tell her that I'm annoyed, like hurt. I'm not mad. I'm hurt. Or I can just be in my dark, twisty moment and talk to her in 48 hours. And she'll know because I'm so passive aggressive that something is wrong. And I'll just act like everything's fine. And I decided in that moment to go tell her my feelings are hurt. And I teared up and it was so hard for me. I don't get vulnerable like that. And it was such a beautiful exercise of trying it and being like, oh, and she heard me and she saw me and she understood me. And then I felt fine again. And I was like, oh, okay, everything's fine. It was just a misunderstanding. She's not purposely trying to A, B, and C, whatever, you know? So it is just such a beautiful thing to have those relationships in your life where you can actually practice those things, where you can do like working through trauma responses to things, working through fear, working through lack of trust, you know? And right now, it's all I have, to be honest with you, because I don't know a single guy that I would even consider marrying. Like, I don't know a single one. So my female relationships right now are like how I'm learning how to like love, and like the only way that I'm getting love, really. That and my dog who almost bit me last night. But I mean, and I think that like, especially being like on the internet, what I like kind of about my page is that I am that for a lot of people, or at least I've worked really hard to be, and I've had people tell me that I am. And it's a blurry line, but they're like, oh my gosh, like girls like you exist. And I'm like, you know, like that's why I have this presence. That's why I let people know like this is who I am. And I try to be like, this is what I believe. And I also have flaws and I also have fears and emotions, and they're really big emotions, but it's really hard when you don't have an actual person to look at and be like, that's someone I could see myself with. And like the internet has created it a way to like be able to find people like that, I think. Like someone to like look, at least like look at and be like, okay, people do exist like what I want. But for me, I think the facade has just been so damaged that I can't even like look at someone on the internet and be like, oh, they're probably great. Because now, since of what I've gone through, I'll talk about my recent story on the next episode. It's going to take a whole podcast to describe that shit show. But the facade has just been ripped off for me. So I can't look at a guy on the internet and be like, I want a guy like that. Because in my back of my mind, I'm like, he's probably a liar. So it's my girlfriends right now that are like, I want a relationship like this one. That's what I want in a marriage. And that's the actual tangible thing that I have to hold on to. And that's okay if that's your only thing in your life that you have to hold on to in regards to love and wanting future love.
I think it's a good basis to start at. Like, I just want to circle back to, I'm so antsy right now. I just don't feel like sitting still. Sorry.
It's
But
okay.
so hard. But it reminds me of that quote every time I am with said person, they heal a part of
Mhm.
me that they didn't even break. And I think, that can be true for your intimate partner. I feel like my first feeling of that was with you and our friendship. And like, that was a perfect example when you spoke about that instance that happened. And that was almost like an old childhood trauma, like coming up of like, you can feel it, and it's like you in your mind, you're like, this is such a silly thing to cry over, but this is how we heal the parts. This is when we're around the
Mhm.
right people. This is how we heal. Things we needed to heal, what the body feels is safe to bring up is going to come up.
Yeah.
Having someone who is willing to do that work with you, hold that conscious mirror and be that safe space. And look, we didn't, both of us were like healing our traumas like side by side. But
Uh-huh.
I think
Yeah.
taught us to really, really hold space, like non-judgmental space, because we knew we were both going through things and no one is perfect. And I think
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if you're with someone or friends or a partner where you really feel like you can't be yourself, like your problems are too much or you're just too big, those aren't your people, that's not your person. And the sooner you
Yeah.
know, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you will find people that you match with.
Mm.
I mean, it's wild. Kate and I are on the other side of the planet. Just let that one sink in. When you are meant to meet someone, I really think the universe brings you together. Like we just
Definitely.
happened to both take a course at the same time that I don't think he's even doing that particular course anymore. And you and I don't do courses like that. We both discussed that too.
No,
She and
that
I
was like a
don't,
first for
we're not,
me.
that was a first for me too. Like I don't spend money like that on like online courses. I'm like a $20 girl, which is why
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to get us to sell like $30 packages because I know what it's like to be like, I only got 20. But no,
But
I had no
look at
money
what we've
left.
turned that into. Look at what we've
Yeah.
turned that into. And now I am a firm
Yeah.
believer that you invest in your
Yeah.
growth. You invest in your growth.
Percent. And not only did I had nothing, like I was negative thousands of dollars. I was so negative. I was so negative. And I literally like took out money from my credit card that was already negative to pay for this $2,000 course. Best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah.
Ever.
Same.
Now we have a thriving business, and my best friend in the entire universe is in Africa, who I never would have met. That's wild. So yeah, like we are here for investing in yourself, whatever it takes, y'all. Like if you're not worth $2,000,
Take the
we need to
risk.
work on
Take
your
the leap.
limited thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you worth? What are you worth? Really ask yourself that, because I'm worth way more than $2,000. But yeah, so female friendships. And I mean, the first time it happened to me, actually, this like whole female friendship kind of dawned on me type of thing was during COVID, and was the end of my cycle of abuse. Actually, it's what healed me in the first place, is that I left California because I didn't want to run back to my abusive ex. And so I went to Connecticut to live with one of my girlfriends, my roommate from college, actually, my other best friend in the world who's in Connecticut. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so peaceful. Like, this is just, like she would go to work and come back. And granted, there's no feelings there. So it's different. It's not like, what were you doing all day? But it was just so healthy. Like, she would come home from work, and I was kind of like a stay at home wife because it was COVID. I didn't have a job. I was like working on my music or working on myself. That's why I started my first women's group. And I would just be home and like cook dinner and she'd come home or what. And it was like, this is phenomenal. And I realized, I was like, relationships like this exist. Huh. Like, if a relationship can exist like this, we would wake up in the morning before she went to work and like read our Bibles together every day. Like, it was really cute. And I was like, I want this in a marriage. Like, I think that this is possible, actually. And it is. It so is. You know, a lot of the time I'm thinking to myself, maybe I just need to be gay, but it's also possible in a heterosexual relationship. You just need to wait and find the right person. And when they're meant to be, even if they're in Africa, they will come to you. But in the meantime, we got to hang on to those girlfriends with all you got. Because man, oh man. But yeah, and Kate is happily in a relationship now, so that's a praise report. One we've been praying about for some time, I will say.
Oh my gosh, we've been praying and we went through a few.
I've been, yeah,
Oh my gosh.
we've been wanting this one. We've been wanting this one. He's cute. He's really good looking.
And I'll tell you what is so interesting is to actually put to practice all of this stuff that like I teach people. They always say you can do so much work on yourself, but a relationship, being in relationship with someone else teaches you like you can't actually do the work on your own. You have to do that work in a relationship.
Yeah.
I notice in myself these moments where saboteur Kate wants to come out, like when she's triggered.
Mm, mm,
So because he just wants to talk about things like, and there's no judgment and there's no screaming and shouting at me and shaming me and weaponizing my vulnerability, which my nervous system still goes like this. And then it's just like the space is held. And I'm like, oh my
mm.
God, okay, I can be safe here. Like this is safe. And it is,
So nice.
it's wild. It's wild to see the work that I've done actually playing out. So instead of also like choosing those old patterns, like I'm able to, because of the work I've done, and this is literally what Chelsea and I teach. This is why we made the business, because we literally have taken our life experience, all the dark stuff that we went through, that we got through, plus our teaching and courses and everything that we've done, we put it into Live Viva. And it's so
Yeah.
interesting to see. Like, I'm like, because I've just finished those 2 conscious relating courses, and I'm like, I'm doing this stuff. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm doing the healthy thing. And it's so, if it's possible for me, it's possible for anyone. Okay. I'm just
Amen.
broken.
Amen. Look at this. We're seeing it in real time. She's in a healthy relationship. Healed. You know what I'm talking about? Like I see people talk about like I'm healed, and I don't think we're ever healed. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there right now. I don't think you ever are healed. I think it is a process. I think that you can be in your healed energy. I think that you can be in your securely attached energy. I think there are times when we slide on back into our not so secure, attachment style. But when you're aware of it, you're able to go flippy flop and address and move accordingly, pivot
And communicate.
and communicate. And look, we're seeing it happen in real time. Kate is actively in a healthy relationship. And I might add, again, Connor's hopefully not going to listen to this because he's going to just get such an
Oh,
ego boost.
he will.
Ladies, he is a beautiful man. So I just have to say to all of those people that are like, I just have to marry an ugly guy because, love is a choice. Love is a choice. It's every day you wake up and you make that choice. But that doesn't mean you have to be with someone ugly. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Like, there are good looking people out there that you will find attractive that will also treat you well. It's not too much to ask for. God is so much bigger than that. And guess what? If you do find someone ugly or unattractive, like, leave them alone. Because you know what? Someone else probably finds them attractive. And if you don't, why are you
Exactly.
with them?
Stop holding other people's soulmates hostage. Let them go so they
Stop
can find
it.
their person. Stop it.
And go find someone that you find attractive. Because Kate and I have, I don't know with you and I particularly, but because we like tattoos and like kind of a similar type, but I just know that specifically with like Mandy, we are the exact example of like two girls seeing the same person, and she'll be like, ooh, and I'm like, I'll see someone and be like, damn. And she's like, oh, like it is like clockwork. Like I genuinely do not find the people she finds attractive to be attractive at all. Like you couldn't pay me enough money to be with these guys, and vice versa with her and I. So that is just to go back to say, just have the bar needs to be so much higher, and the capacity that God has to get you what you want. Stop being impatient. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah.
33. I thought I was going to have 7 children by now and be like living on a ranch somewhere in Montana, you know? And here we are filming a podcast at 8 a.m. and I couldn't be happier. I'm having a hard enough time with a dog. Imagine having kids right now. God bless you, Kate. God bless. She's a champ. But it was her thing and what was right for her. And that's all to say that like God has a unique plan for each one of us. And so just, you know, be so open to it and be so like, you know, do those manifestations, do them, you know, right? Wake up in the morning and write down what you want, you know, good looking, tall, like write down what you want and remember to include those things that you find in your girlfriend, because she found a lot of what is in me is in her now boyfriend, and you're aware that it exists, you know, because you're like, wow, it exists in this girl, it probably exists in a guy, and then boom, he came along,
Be
Chelsea in boy
specific.
form.
Be specific.
Yes, get specific.
And don't manifest from a state of trauma, because I've done that. And you must look back at your life and realize you have called in every single partner that you've had. They've been bad because of what you've called in. I know I have, because I know the stuff that I used to ask for, which I'm not going to mention. You know, it's very different now. And like I was so clear on what I wanted to bring. Firstly, I took like a year on my own. I was so clear with what I wanted to bring. And then I just started what I wanted, sorry, jumping around here, ADHD brain, what I
No,
wanted to bring, what I wanted to receive. And my list is like, I'm like, these are my non negotiables. And I'm not budging. I'm not people pleasing on this. That's it. I also waited. I trusted God. I
mm-hmm.
really trusted God. That was hard because, you know, in this day and age where we just want to jump and move really fast, slow is the medicine.
Yeah. Yeah, really and truly. Slow and steady genuinely wins the race. You jump it, and I've learned this so many times over and over and over, and I hate how many times I have to relearn it, you know? Because it's like, again, it happened to me, you know, recently. Anything that starts fast and like goes up into flames real fast goes out just as fast. Let me tell you, like, love bombing is so real and it's not normal and it's not healthy. And it is so hard, especially if you do love yourself, to have someone come on, you know, that like that meme, but it's true, the real, it's like, why wouldn't I believe someone's love bombing me? I'm very lovable, you know, like it's really hard to be like, wow, they're probably full of it. But and a little taster, and then we'll come back and I'll do that in another episode. But just to prove like
But end on the
the point
taster so
here.
that people are like left hanging.
Huh?
End on the taster so they're left hanging for episode 2 to be
Yeah,
continued.
okay. Yes.
Can I
So
just preface
my
this by
last
saying that I felt like I was living vicariously in a movie through what happened to you? Like, you cannot make this shit up. It was crazy. Like, I still am like, did this happen? Is this real?
I know. I
Wild.
know.
Okay, go.
Unfortunately, most of my life has been like that. So it felt very normal to me, right? Because my nervous system is used to this very abnormal place that it lives. Just to give you like a little taster, like my first crazy boyfriend was acquitted for murder. So, like, that's my normal. So then when this guy came in and started love bombing me, it seemed fairly like normal, like it wasn't that shocking. And then he started like making these crazy statements, but I was like, whatever, like stranger things have happened, right? Like saying like, oh, I'm going to fly to Africa to see you. No one's going to fly to Africa to see you when they just met you 4 days ago on the internet. Okay. That's crazy. But, anyways, I was like, of course you are, because I'm great, So I just let that one slide on by. Anyways, the point of the story is easy come, easy go, right? Because in the end, I was like, how did he know all these things about me? And then I realized, like, I have an Instagram that's very public. So it was just so easy. I'm such an easy target. So he showed up and created a person that was all the things that I wanted. No, he didn't actually show up. But when he showed up, no, didn't show up at all, actually. But when he popped into my life, he created a character that
What
was
did
what he
show up
thought I
are
would
all the
want.
red scarves, that the red flags that he gave you that you made into a scarf. Oh, have we burnt that scarf?
Have we burnt that stuff? We need to burn that scarf. A
We are burning
Dior ass POS. Anyways, got conned. That's a whole nother story. And it's good though, but it was another lesson that I had to learn yet again. Easy come, easy go. Anything that is that aggressive and perfect and all the who can answer 100 questions and get all the answers right? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It was fully a facade. He said everything that he knew I wanted to hear. And then when the curtain came down, I saw it all, and it was not pretty. Let me tell you, nothing makes a guy more unattractive than like insecurity and not knowing who they are. Okay. But, anyways, that's for another episode. Don't rush into anything. If someone comes a guns a blazing, know they're probably going to shoot you and leave. Okay. So don't fall for it.
But if someone
Okay.
comes
Thank you.
guns blazing, just go slow. If that is God sent, then you can't mess it up unless
Yes.
you do something really bad, you know?
Do something really bad. Just go slow. If you go, the answer for everything is just go slow. You go slow, you're going to see who someone is. Eventually, they're going to slip up and you're going to see who they are. And either they're going to slip up and you're going to be like, oh, that was cute. You're actually like a really good person. Like, that was your slip up? Adorable. You know what I mean? Or they're going to slip up and you're going to be like, holy shit.
Bye.
Yeah, it's you will, the truth always comes out. I've considered starting like an FBI service for women, but that's another talk for another day. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week on Raising.
You haven't. Bye.
Bye.